A book cover is more than just something that needs to look appealing to your eye. It's something that has to sell. That involves a lot of little details and a whole lot of understanding of what looks good in print and in digital format. If you missed the video before this one on working with your cover designer, I'll link to that at the end because this is an immediate follow-up to that one. And we're going to take you through the cover design and comp process to help you get the best cover design. So, if you want to help your cover designer give you the best possible book cover, and I mean, why the heck wouldn't you? Well, this video is for you. Hey there, I'm Julie the Book Broad, founder of Book Launchers. In part one, I introduced you to Cassie Vors, who is the head of our design team at Book Launchers. She's brilliant, as you will soon see if you missed part one. The first video walked you through what you need to share with your designer as far as, likes, dislikes, fonts, images, ideas, all the things you need to get started in the cover design process. Today, we're going to dive into what the cover comp and revision process looks like. So let's get right into it. At Book Launchers, after we've collected all the information from our clients and done a bunch of category research and competition evaluation and done some image searching, our clients get 3 or 4 different cover designs to start the process. I'll let Cassie explain from here. Take it away, Cassie.
What to expect. I've given you guys some examples of some work that we've done just to show you kind of what that first round should look like. So these are some covers where the client had this idea that she really wanted. And it was difficult because some of the items that she wanted on this cover were really specific and things that I just could never find or recreate. So my job, again, is to find a way, like we talked about before, finding a way to satisfy her vision, because this is your book, this is your project, this is your baby. My job as a designer is to create, have this book come to life and give some vision to it. So whatever ideas you have are just as important. And the far right cover is really where I tried to merge her ideas. She wanted this ocean feel, but she wanted some aspects of the book, like this crown that was important and some other items that were important, but ultimately we just couldn't make it work on the cover. So this is kind of where we met in the middle. But you can see the other 2 options, she really wanted blue. So that was really important. So I made sure that that was within all of those covers. But she also kind of wanted some fonts that were a little bit, I don't know, freer, I guess you could say, more freeing. And so we have some of these swash fonts, which is here where you can see Soul and Soul Center. And then you can even see on this version where I've applied a swash font to kind of make some of the words pop out in the subtitle, so that when you're looking at that cover, your eye as a consumer, as a reader, you're going straight to those words. And that's a really cool approach to covers. I think whether making it a different color or making it a different typeface helps your reader kind of like zoom right into that.
Oh, and if you're wondering how that book turned out in the end, isn't that a beautiful design? So good. But that author had a lot of clear ideas to begin with. What if you're someone without a clear concept in mind? Which is usually me. I'm like, just make something look good. So if that's you, well, that's what happened with this book. So you can see what that looks like.
At this point, since we don't have a direct concept or any idea of like, hey, I really want dirt in it, or I really want some gardening aspect, or like I want gardening tools. So since we don't have that, we're kind of just coming up with some ideas, see what happens. So you can see like we're using different typefaces, and all of your comps should look different. Your designer should be offering you different typefaces, different placement, putting your name, the author name at the top, at the bottom, on the left, on the right, trying different layouts. Maybe your title is really big, like the second one. Maybe it's smaller here, maybe it's thicker, taller. You should be seeing different examples, different ideas, so that you have something to choose from.
The icons were something he really wanted in there, so they remained. And this is where that book ended up. By the way, I didn't know anything about mound gardening before we worked with this author, and now I am convinced that it is one of the best ways to grow a garden in your yard. It is such an incredible way to go. Of course, I'm a bit of a plant killer myself, but we did get a pear tree last year, so here's hoping it survives. Right now, I must admit, I'm not feeling very optimistic as it's looking a little sad, but there are some green buds. Oh, I hope it lives. But one more example on book covers. This is from an incredible author who we've worked with, who's also one savvy and kind-hearted businessman, Brent Pullman. His book is coming out really soon, and it's a fun example because it illustrates why it's so important to get very different designs. The cover he went with was not the one with the elements that he asked for.
So this client had let us know, I want my cover to include a skyline and office buildings. That's what I want. And so the first one on the far left is exactly that. It photoshops some things together. We got this guy, he's looking over the skyline of office buildings and fulfilling that request. And he also said he loves black and he loves gold and he loves white. So those were the three top colors. So within that, you can see we really stuck with that theme. And I'm also giving him different typefaces. They're lowercase, they're uppercase, they're sans serif, they're serifs. So we're trying different things. On this middle comp, this was, okay, well, let me stick with that office building skyline, but maybe from a different viewpoint. Maybe it's not just what you're looking at normally, right? And let me try something interesting with the type so that you're really focused, like all those buildings are coming in and focusing on that header or that title. And then the one on the right was my completely end of the spectrum. Let's try something different that the client isn't expecting. And the compass kind of gives you that look and leaders or leading feel with, heading north and all of that stuff. So he actually ended up going with the far right. So this was something that the clients did not expect. And sometimes you get something that you really just hadn't thought of before. So some of the far left cover, maybe we've seen a couple times, but the one on the far right really stands out. And I'm just patting myself on the back over here. So my covers are really amazing, is what I'm saying. No, so
no, this is one that we would call a hole-in-one, where there were no revisions. He just was like, "That's the winner. That's it. We're done. Wrap it." And it happens, every once in a while, and we always kind of celebrate when that does, because Cassie hit a hole-in-one.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to come back and they'd be like, just send me the cover. I'm like, okay, great. That's awesome. And that's definitely, I'm patting myself on the back for that one, but it was really cool. It was really cool to see them like, that's it. And sometimes that happens, which is kind of leads me into the next part of the review process.
So your designer gives you comps. Well, what's next? Maybe you're like Brent and you go, that one right there, no changes. I love it. But most people aren't quite ready to say that. So here's what happens.
So sit with your designs. And just like we saw on Brent Pullman, sometimes you just know. And if you just know, go with it. If that's the kind of person you are, some people are like that, and that's totally fine. Other times, look at the comps, take a step away, go talk to friends and family, go get a cup of coffee, come back the next day, and then look at them again.
Now, here is where I want to jump in with a warning and a tip. Friends and family are likely not your ideal reader for the book. In some cases, they even have emotional ties to the book, and they absolutely have emotional ties to you. This means they aren't looking at the book like a reader. They're judging the aesthetic nature of it. And the only person who really, really matters in the book cover decision is the person you want to buy and read your book. So if you have access to your ideal readers, you could ask them for opinions and thoughts. My personal favorite technique is to put the book in the top 10 lineup of its category, the bestsellers in the category, and see which one stands out. As I've shared before, Self-Published and Succeed, being yellow, was not my favorite or anywhere near my first choice, but my goodness, does it pop out in the category, so I went with it. Now, you've thought about it and you have feedback for your design. What should you say or not say to your designer to get the book cover of your dreams and of your readers' needs?
Giving feedback, some things that are hard to work with are when, we hear things like, well, I'll know when I see it. I don't like these, but I'll know when I see it. And that is difficult because now we're kind of stuck in this like, well, now I'm just guessing, right? Like now I don't really have enough information, and now I'm just going to keep building and building comps until they know when they see it. So that isn't as helpful for us. But looking for, like I really like the typeface on number 3, and I love the colors on 1. I wish that they were maybe a little bit more muted. They're a little too bright for me. So you can always take different comps and merge them together. We get that a lot. We get a lot of clients that say, you know what, love the typeface on this, love the image on 1. Can we put those together? But can we also take this little thing on number 2 and add that because I love it? So, mix and match and just be communicative about your feedback. And I actually wanted to bring Jacqueline into this because Jacqueline really deals a lot with that interaction with the client and hearing what clients have to say about the artwork. And because then I get all that from her, and she's amazing. She shoots these videos for me and tells me what to do, and I love it. So Jacqueline, do you have anything to provide for the feedback?
Sure. When we get cover comps, they're always like beautiful and amazing. And so I'll sit down with a client on Zoom and reveal them one at a time and get their gut reaction of like, ooh, I like this, but I hate that color or whatever. And I just make all the notes. And then once we revealed all of them, we start making some compare and contrast because Cassie does a really good job of giving us different layouts. A lot of people will say, okay, well, a book cover, it goes title, image, author name. And we do different layouts. And so then we'll analyze the layouts themselves. What appeals to you? Do you like something creative that Cassie has done? Or do you like the author name on the top? There are different ideas. And then we'll look really at the fonts and go, okay, you've got a swash font here. You've got a sans serif, a serif. She's popped out the subtitles. Do we like that? So that it's not just yes, no, reject, accept, that it becomes a more nuanced conversation.
A couple of other notes, and I know this is something that you will do, but I'm going to say it anyways. Please be respectful of your cover designer, because of course you're a decent human being and you're not going to say this one's trash. Have you ever done this before? Even if you hate it. What I mean is that if you have 5 designs to start with, please don't ask your designer to change each of them. Narrow it down to 2 concepts you like as a base and give specific ideas from there so they can play with colors, fonts, images, and those concepts, and not have to spend hours and hours on each version of the cover. Of course, if there really is nothing you do like about the covers, put them back in and shake it up. But you can expect most cover designers to not be too pleased about that. And if you're paying them by the project, they will likely ask for more compensation because the time they have to invest in this project just increased dramatically. All right, that gave you a lot to work with and to speak with your designer about to get your best cover. So please, please, please smash that thumbs up in celebration of all the work that Cassie put into this presentation, which was a deep dive we held in January 2023. By the way, if you're wishing you caught the entire 2-hour session, well, my friend, make sure you're getting our newsletter so you don't miss this awesome zero-cost session that we do for our community every month. booklaunchers.com/newsletter gets you the invites each month. And of course, being subscribed to this channel is a smart move too. If you're not, I'll wait a sec so you can do that. Done? Okay, cool. The last thing I want to share is a question that came up on stock photography usage. I think Cassie shares an important little piece for you to know before you hire a designer, if you're not working with Book Launchers, which I hope we were your first choice because we have such a fabulous design team. But if you're not, I want you to know this important point about stock photography.
Licensing becomes a little tricky. So a lot of the stuff that we do at Book Launchers is based off of stock photography. That being said, it's not just, hey, I found this photo and I pasted it on the cover. I do a lot of photoshopping work. So I'm taking all sorts of different photos like that Jennifer Rucco one with the ocean and Soul Center. That is so much photoshopping work. That's like 6 different photos that I put together. So it's not always just one. It's a really great question. If you're looking for like a hand illustrated cover, then search for a graphic designer that that's something that's part of their skill set. So make sure that you are asking someone like, hey, I want this hand drawn, or can you make me, you know, a picture on your own? Can you brush it? And whatever you want them to do. But I've worked on a cover like that. I worked with an illustrator. I did all of the typography and cover layout, and she did on her iPad through Creative Pro, she built this whole character, and we used that as the front image, and then I did all of the other stuff. So, you know, if that's something you're interested in, absolutely find somebody to do that. As far as the licensing rights, so it gets a little complicated, but I did take art in the law. I swear it was a class and I took it. So with stock photos, I sign up for a membership for my stock photography. So once you are paying me and I am downloading that image and I am putting it on your cover, you now own the rights to that image. That being said, you are not the only person that has the rights to that image. So if that were the case, if that were the case, then, you know, the image would go up and the image would come down. No one could ever use it again. Other people may use it. So stock photography can be tricky. I have a rule when I use stock photography. I always try to alter it in some kind of way and make it specific to your cover. So like I said about like the life raft and like putting on like a money pattern or something to superimpose it. That's now an original image. It's not just download, click, put, type, done. So, you know, it's important to talk to your designer about that. Like, I don't want something super stock photography-ish. I also really try not to put people's like stock photography people's faces on there, because they're all like super corny, and it's just like, you know, it's a stock photo and no one connects with it. As far as like marketing and all of that stuff goes, depending on the type of subscription that your designer has, you cannot use that stuff on like marketing materials and things like that. So check with your designer, ask them what rights you have to the image.
It's called a finished product thing. So you can use the image, a stock photography image on a front cover for up to 500,000 versions of your book, like prints of your book, which is bestseller beyond category. And then if you wanted to put it on like a mug, a finished product with your book cover on it, that's where you start getting into trouble, and you need to have the higher license on it. Yeah. So most cover designers are going to have the, you know, basic have it on your cover thing, but they're not going to have the finished product license because that's more expensive.
And on that note too, I think I saw something pop up. Stay away from Google Images. Do not use any image. You know, we've had some people that are like, oh, I found this image online. It's really great. Use it. We don't have the rights to it. You cannot use it. Not to mention, you start to get into issues with high res and quality. So high resolution, anytime you print an image, you want it to be 300 DPI. I could get into all the pixel talk, but I would love it. So if anyone wants to talk to me about pixels later, let me know. But it's a little boring. So you definitely want to make sure that it's a high res image, but also you just don't have the rights to it. So if you like Google searched, you know, a piggy bank, I could not think of that word, a piggy bank, and you just find one on Google and you're like, sweet, that's awesome. You cannot use that. You need to have some kind of licensing rights to it.
Phew. That was a lot of amazing content. And I'm sure you can see why I love my team at Book Launchers. They are so amazing at their job, and they care deeply about our authors and the books. We hire book-loving, author-loving talent only at Book Launchers. Even our people who don't work on the books must love books. And we're almost always hiring for something, whether it's our in-house team or our contract team. So do visit booklaunchers.com and scroll to the bottom for our links to any open jobs if you're interested. But now, this video is the one that started the series on working with book cover designers. So if you missed it, click on right over there. And if you're now wondering about all the images you can and can't use in your book or on your cover, well, this is the video you must go to next. So go ahead, click one. I'm going to be there waiting for you.